This is a presentation of the 19th Annual Colorado Snow and Avalanche Workshop, a program of the Colorado Avalanche Information Center, Friends of CAIC, and the National Avalanche Center, presented by Dinafit and Pomoka.
Hello, my name is Billy Rankin, and I spent many years as the Snow Safety Director and Risk Manager for 11 Snowcat operation. Today I'm excited to share a bit of the evolution of our risk management program and highlight an accident we had years ago and how we learn from near misses and accidents. Our operation is located in the West Elk Mountains of Colorado, just 10 miles west of Crested Butte. We receive, on average, about 450 inches of snowfall a year. We have about 1,000 acres of terrain, so relatively small. We run 10 to 20 skiers a day, 1 or 2 snowcats. It's a great operation, and I'd like to share with you a little bit of details of it. So the evolution of our risk management plan is multifold here. I'd say the number one thing here is the diversity of our team. We have an amazing team of snow and avalanche professionals and guides. And over the years, we've hired a nice mix of players, from old ski patrollers to IFMGA guides to young and old, with varying levels of experience and skill, to create a nice diversity of a team. When you're hired on as a guide here, you're not indoctrinated into a long-running program, but more asked to contribute to the program. So we constantly add for guide feedback and ideas through daily debriefings, seasonal debriefings, one-on-one interviews, and as well implementing people's ideas into each year. And our program has evolved year after year, mostly from the different ideas and feedback from our guides. We have a robust training program, and we are proud of our preseason trainings, our ongoing trainings, and we rigorously train like many of you. Mentorship and outside assessment. We are always welcome to outside professionals to our operation. And over the years, we have had many professionals come and visit our operation, and we ask them to be critical and take a critical look at what we're doing and how we're doing it. And we really value an outsider's look. As well, leading into today, we look at near misses, accidents, and how we debrief them. And we like to promote a culture of humility, honesty, and understanding. And we encourage our guides to say, hey, I had a mistake today. I had a near miss. I'd like to document it. And internally and externally, we're pretty transparent. We like to share what's happening within our operation for the betterment of our own operation and the avalanche industry as a whole. So let's take a look. This is leading into an accident in 2013. This is the upper west wall, west-facing terrain, about 11,800 feet. You can see a Snowcat road going right to the top. This is some of our biggest terrain, littered with trigger points, convexities, gully features, really variable snowpack. Zooming in, the accident happened in this left more funnel feature that you could see called Lone Wolf. And on this day, my partner and I, Megan, were lower on the terrain, ski cutting. No guests were up this day. We were just getting terrain ready for the next day. We had 5 inches of new snow. We were ski cutting out 8, 12-inch deep pockety wind slabs, classic ski cutting type problem, what most of us would be considered fun, appropriate, manageable ski cutting. Later in the day, we moved up into this terrain above tree line. The wind was significantly stronger. Visibility was more poor. We had a little orographic cloud sitting over us. And as we entered the terrain, my partner Megan was talking loudly and being very vocal as to how she was not comfortable going in here, how we should back off. or we should go make up some shots. And I was very, I had my ears closed this day and was very narrowly focused on getting in here. I approached the terrain with a ski cut, was about 5 or 8 feet too low where the crown cracked above me. I took about an 800-foot ride. My feet stayed below me the whole time. I did have my ACL blow halfway down. I did fly over about a 15-foot cliff, was in and out of the snow, and then came to a stop above the snow, non-buried, or I guess partially buried. Before I could even hit my radio, my partner Megan was right next to me and watched the whole thing. What are some factors of this avalanche? Well, the weather factor, the big one was visibility. If I had clear visibility, it could have been a pretty heroic ski cut, but I was a little too low on my ski cut, mostly due to the visibility of this little orographic cloud. Human factors were big, listening to your partner. I was not listening this day, and I should have been. And from this, we've gotten much better of how we communicate as partners out on a slope, and we all have a say whether we go somewhere or don't go somewhere. Another human factor was a bit of familiarity. I was very familiar with this terrain, and we often see that as being advantageous to knowing our terrain and the start zones and the patterns where avalanches run and release from. Well, this case, familiarity bit me in the butt, and I was a little too comfortable on this terrain on this day. The forecast problem was wind slab, and we're all quite familiar with wind slab problems. But again, we knew it was a wind slab problem, but just to know that the 5 to 12 inch wind slabs we were seeing early in the day, we underestimated that this terrain could be producing 20 to 30 inch wind slabs with only 5 inches of snow from pretty significant cross-loading of this terrain. And then again, mitigation technique of ski cutting. We've all, or many of us have gotten very comfortable ski cutting over the years, and we know that just in more recent years, the whole industry has been taking a closer look of really looking at the risk of ski cutting and taking it a little more seriously. And of course, from this day, I take it much more seriously, and we have many more conversations whether we should be ski cutting or not, and or using explosives on a certain day. So these are some of the take-home lessons from this day. I'd like to go in and talk more about our program. From every accident or near miss, it really helps evolve our whole risk management program. And so let's take a look at it. Avalanche forecasting, really the crux of the matter here. We do have 3 weather stations: a ridgetop station, base station, or study plot station, where we measure snow. And of course, our ridgetop station is great for wind. And we're able to access this remotely from the internet, and this is public information as well. We produce a mediogram. This is a shot of our database, which I'll look at further in a little bit, but we're able to look at our great weather history from day to day, month to month, and see what's been happening to help our current forecasting. So a great tool. And then when we get in the morning, our workflow and the roles and decision-making and documentation, this is really what we've progressed over the years and evolved and are constantly evolving. But we have 2 main players. We have a forecaster and we have a lead guide. And they sit side by side at our 2 computers up at Irwin. And the forecaster really focuses on the avalanche hazard, while the lead guide focuses on risk. And the forecaster will take a look at the problem, the sensitivity, distribution, and size, and a bit of the risk analysis, while the lead guide looks at the vulnerability of the guests coming this day, starts on a run list with the help of the forecaster, and a risk management plan for the day. I'm really looking at what's how to manage the exposure for the day. Here's what it looks like. Without going through every box, we look at a summary of yesterday's observations, And then we look at 3 main zones, west, south, and east. Though we have 8 zones total, we break them down to 3 zones for forecasting. And we look at the problems for each zone, and again, the characteristics, sensitivity, distribution, size. We'll also rate uncertainty, come up with a snow safety plan for the day, how to address it. And again, usually our avalanche forecast for the day becomes the head of our snow safety team, which is usually a team of 2 who can go out without guests and just mitigate our avalanche problems for the day or collect more information as needed. At the same time, our lead guide will look at our risk management plan for the day. We look at strategic mindset and the trend of the mindset over the last few days. We check out vulnerability of the guests, again, risk management plans, terrain use strategies, and any additional logistics for the day. And then finally, both the forecaster and lead guide come together for the run list. And this essentially is the product for the day. This is the Bible. This is what we ski or don't ski. We do use green for open, red for closed, and we also use yellow for evaluate. So we've gotten a lot of scrutiny and scrutinized ourselves over the years and had lots of conversation of the use of evaluate. But currently where we're at, if we rate a run as evaluate, we do not ski it until we collect further information from that slope. And if it is on evaluate, we try to document what is needed. What do we need to specifically evaluate on that slope before we go in there on a certain day or before we open it up to our guests for the day. So the run list is a great tool that I know many of us are using, both professionally and maybe even recreationally. Persistent slab avalanche problems, like many of us in Colorado or around the West deal with. This is probably the crux of our forecasting problem. Here's a little video showing the extent of some of our avalanche problems. This is in our upper west wall from years ago.
There it goes. There it goes, whole thing. Both of them. Got one there. We got one there. Oh, it's coming out big over there. Valley floor.
So we learned pretty quickly in our evolution the importance of an explosives program. We have a lot of avalanche terrain, and with our continental snowpack, it'd be really hard to manage our terrain appropriately and get our guests onto our terrain without our explosives. And again, we use Dynamax, little 3-pound sticks, and a lot of Ampho, pre-assembled cap and fuse. And that's about it for product-wise. We do a lot of air blasts. We use boo shots or air blasts really to help test that persistent slab problem and to help, call it unreactive. And very often we will not go onto our slopes or open our slopes until we put big air blasts on them and deem them as unreactive. So again, a couple videos of showing you just some air blasts, because again, who doesn't like videos of big explosives? So again, on this run, we've done some hand shots, some ski cuts, and finally, either on a second pass or same pass, we placed a big air blast to really test it for that persistent slab problem. On a different piece of terrain, up on our east-facing terrain, we'll start up on the ridge top with hand shots to control cornices or wind slab problems. And then after some hand shots or cover shots, we'll work down through this terrain and usually set up a couple, again, big air blasts.
December 19th, East Bark Marker, 2 air blasts. Boom, boom, and holding tight, a little bit of a dribble.
So explosives are a big part of our program, as well as ski and boot packing program. We've implemented a great and successful program using locals and volunteers. I would like to thank Snowmass, Ski Patrol, and John Covelli for a lot of their work. We have adopted a lot of our program after them, and even the way they set up their paperwork and volunteers. And we do a lot of boot packing. We try to get on the slopes with about 1 meter of snow so we can penetrate effectively through the snowpack. And we've learned it's been an extremely successful program, as many of you know how important it is to many resorts and or programs with the Continental Snowpack. These photos were taken from years where we were packing pretty darn tight, almost shoulder to shoulder. I will say we have spread out a little bit over the years and seem to find equal success in about 1 meter spread between packers. A big part of our program is documentation of our work. So photo overlays, again, this is part of our database that John Snook has developed for us, what we call SnookNet. And a lot of you, if not all of you, have seen different versions of this, but this is where we could pull up a piece of terrain and then basically click on different dates and see the different work that's been done on the different dates. And again, we have a legend for red being hand shots, purple being double hand shots, yellow being ANFO, and any squares being air blasts. So just to look at some other pieces of our terrain, we can see the green lines are packing. So we document where we've packed, where we've thrown shots, and where we've seen avalanches, either natural and or triggered avalanches. And it's a great tool to be able to look at our terrain, especially for our guides to do it from home on their computers. They could access this at any point and see what's been done day to day, week to week, month to month, especially for a guide coming back from a trip or on their Sunday night to really feel, get a great visual representation of what's been happening out there. So we really like our photo overlay program, big part of our avalanche forecasting program. So that's about it for today. The goal of our risk management program is to not be complacent and to constantly evolve it and stay up with the current practices and models and stay on it and keep learning from accidents and near misses and evolving our program to keep improving. So hopefully you got a couple of good nuggets from the day. Hopefully I look forward to answering some questions, and please reach out to me offline and say, hey, love talking shop. Thanks for watching and having me today, and have a safe and successful season out there. Thanks again.